Welcome everyone for this TypeScript second session. This second session mostly the object-oriented programming, how TypeScript handles and convert convert to JavaScript. Before starting this session, just I want to know. I think every one of you familiar with OOPS, or anyone you don't know OOPS, at least the basic concept. Just I want to know what is the quality of our audience. So because as per this TypeScript, I don't have intention to cover the basic concept of OOPS, but how the TypeScript handles that one. So that was intention, but no issues. Even though you don't know even about OOPS concept, actually that is a deeper concept if you go deeper. But just you will know, if you know the function, then you can understand the OOPS. The class is based for OOPS. Then we can understand the thing. So let's start with this thing. I hope everyone have enough time to work with TypeScript. I think.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, very good. Because we have only 1 day gap between two classes. Initially, I planned to have two classes, one class in this week, Thursday, and another class next week, Tuesday. So we have enough time to do. But anyhow, since we have covered only the basic concept in the first session, you can remember whenever you recall those things, definitely it's familiar only. After the complete this session, when you have time, at least half an hour each day. So if you spend time on this TypeScript, definitely you can become familiar with these. So, and moreover, whenever you have doubt, please call me. Don't hesitate to call me through Skype or Google Meet. I ready to help you. So currently I am working in TypeScript and Angular, Node. So this area only. So all those things, TypeScript is very, very necessary. And so it's good to learn this one. So whenever we use JavaScript, the TypeScript will be very handy to cover complex JavaScript functions. Okay, then let's continue with the previous session. I share my screen now. So this was the last slide we discussed about. This is the functions. What are the variation of function in TypeScript with the parameter, optional, and default, rest parameter, and functional overloading. Up to that we saw. Actually, last class portion was the union type and any. That also we intended to cover, but since we don't have enough time that day, we left that one. So let's cover from this lefted over slides. So actually union type is the data type. So actually this is very easy only, but it may be newer for other programming language. So here, to declare the variable is a var and the variable name and the data type we need to mention. So number we will mention, or string or boolean we will mention. So once you assigned this number to this variable, we can assign only the number type to that variable, right? So this is the thing, but sometimes, but unfortunately, that variable can contain number or string. So if you receive, if you call some external function that may return value in number or string that time, so this is very hard to get the value. So we need to typecast, we need to check the type, what is the return type of that function, then only we need to assign, right? So here, this is the type, union type is handy here. So here, see, I declare the result is a variable. I assigned number, string, boolean. So this variable can contain these type of data types. So here we are assigning here result equal to 39 number, and test, this is string, and true, this is a true or false, the boolean variable. We can assign three kind of data type to the single variable. This is It's a very good feature in a union type. Even we can declare more than 3 to for testing purpose. For example purpose, I have declared only 3. So this is about the variable. For function parameter also we can do the same. So here for test function, I have name variable here, the parameter. For parameter, I am assigning. So parameter can be this kind of data types. Okay, let's see the example now. So as we discussed here, we are assigning the T3. So just we comment out this one, what will happen. So since this result is a number data type, it accepts number, but not the string and other things. So that's why we are assigning the 3 things. So now it can assign any type of, any means the 3 type of data type to so single variable here. So when we declare, when we print this, the last one will be printed here. This is a simple example about this one. Then we will go for the real implementation. Finally, I will show my project to how we have implemented to my project. Let's comment out this one. Then we next function parameter for this variable, this parameter, I am passing string, number, anything I can pass. So we are calling this function here. So first I am passing string, next number, the third one is array, string array I am passing here. So inside of the function, we are handling based on the type of the variable. So this parameter is type of string, means I will do one operation, whatever we want to. We can even call some other function too. Like that, number means we will go for some calculation. So string means we are concatenating all the string what we are sending and give the final result. Let's execute this function. So first this calling print the string. So Raj is a string. Second one 10. So it will go here. So since this is a number, it will print the number. The final one is the string array. So it concatenate all the string and given as a so names here, list of names we are printing here. So this is how to we can use in function. The another one is the interface. So interface we not yet covered, but anyhow, just I understand the just understand the usage of this union type. See here, this is the payment method. So when we purchase something, we can pay the amount by the 3 kind of mode. One is cash, and one is the PayPal, another one is a credit card. Based on this payment method, we can give some discount or maybe extra tax that may be included. So in this function, we create type here. So this is a type name. Then you can assign the any kind of data type here. So even numbers, string, boolean we can assign. Otherwise, the even interfaces. So actually here and all we union 3 different data types, but here we are union 3 interfaces. When we pass here, the based on the kind, what kind of the payment mode, we can do the operation here. So union is join more than one data type or interfaces to do the operation. So this is very handy to our project. I show my project how we have handled. So here in our project, I show you one screen. Actually, here the person's experience. If I select one type, it will show different type of properties here. If I select another one, it will show different kind of properties. So we have only one experience, but different kind of implementation. In code, you can understand more about this one. So here, this is the role, associate role. So here, it's a session participant, session volunteer, or retreat participant, retreat volunteer, grow group member. So if you go here, so you can see the several field, different amount of field too. Some contains 33 fields, but some contains very less. But all it contains as a union type. We are setting the types to one thing here. But based on the implementation, when we go here and journey points tab here, actually based on the type, we call a different function here. Inside we call a different function. So don't bother about the syntax and all, just usage I explained. In a real scenario, it will be very useful when we go for some generic type. We need not write function for each category differently. We need to assign all the type to one variable. There, based on that variable type, we can write different code. So this is about the union type. So this is very handy. But when we need, then only we need to go for that. So if you are very sure about this type, only number or string, better we go for that. But definitely we don't have any clue when developing time. In runtime, we can get any result, means we can go for so union type. This is a very safer one. And next type is any. So we can say this is a big brother for union. So union type, it accepts any type of data types here. So in previous slides, we are telling, so it result should accept 3 types, right? But if you do the same here, let result any means it will accept anything. It need not tell explicitly. Actually, JavaScript works in the like this only. In JavaScript, what we are doing, just where some variable, then it accepts any kind of data type first time. When you go for second time, it will throw error, but first time it will accept any kind of things. So this is about any. Let's go for example now, so you will understand more about this. Actually, still we have this is a union type only. So it accepts number, string, boolean, since we have specified here. But the string array we haven't specified. That's why it shows the error. To overcome this, just we set any here. Now it won't complain anything. But what we are telling to our TypeScript compiler, so result that can contain any kind of things. So this is the thing. So here, when we can use for this, we don't have any clue. Actually, for union type, we know 2 to 3 we know very well, means we can go for union type, but we don't have any clue. Now, anything it can be written from our external function, means better we can go for any. And in TypeScript, if you don't declare anything, by default, this is any only. So this is a default one. Explicitly, we are telling. So this is a better practice to explicitly we mention. So whenever other developers or compiler will understand that this is a any type. But moreover, any itself, people will say so when we don't have any clue, then only we need to go for any. Otherwise, we need to declare the variable explicitly. This is the strength of TypeScript. In JavaScript, nothing we can do, but in TypeScript, we need to tell the type when compiler time and calculation time and all, we can avoid the errors, mismatch errors, this and all we can avoid. So this is the type, the any. So it is, I think this is very easy only.
So what is the data I will get if I'll compile the code? So in that result, what is the data? The latest
This is the
one?
Yeah, latest one only. So let's compile this one. So this is the default behavior.
So we can override to any type.
Any type, yes. So if you comment out this, it will return true. So the latest one will be retained in this variable. Clear, Arun?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, let's go to whoops in TypeScript. This is a class. Actually, in first session we saw a little bit, but anyway, we will dig this more in this TypeScript. So class is a blueprint for object. So object oriented programming, the class is a key. Okay, so class is nothing. So like function only, but it has some extra thing. So class here, class name, address is a class name. There we can have three type of entity here. So first one fields, so city, name, that and all the variables, the nothing but this is a variable. And the constructor is a entry point of the class. Actually, we are calling this class here. See, new address, then we are passing some variable value, right? So this is value for constructor. So when this call this class here instantiated, the value will be assigned to constructor. That constructor value will be available throughout the class. So this is the purpose of constructor. In constructor we have so many ways, but as of now this is enough. Then we can have any, but here we can have any number of functions or method here. So show city, we have created one function here. We can create anything. So this is the three basic unit for class here. So this is as usual. So we are create instance for this class for object. This object dot show city means this method will be executed. Let's see in code. So same thing we have pasted on field and the constructor and the show city. So we create instance of this class in this object. In the object now show this is show city. So show city means it will go here and execute this console log. Let's execute this class now. My city is Chennai. Actually, Chennai we are passing when instance of the class. So it will go to constructor and we are assigning this for this field, this city we are assigning here. So if you go for another function, there also the city is available. Okay, so this is a small example of the class here. So when we see the last class in the JavaScript, it handles in different way. So for everything, it class on super class. Then inside of the class for constructor, it class on constructor, it creates one function. For method also, it creates one function. It handles different way. Instead of creating the class in this way, in TypeScript is better to do. That's why we prefer TypeScript. And moreover, the other people, they might have come from Java or PHP or C#. These syntax are 100% similar to other language. Definitely, they will prefer this way. So this is one of strength in TypeScript. They handle class like this.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yes, Titus.
City is declared as string in type is declared in two places. First, initially city is a string.
Yeah.
Then again inside constructor we again declared.
Actually, yes, Titus. Actually, this is true, but this is both are different. Actually, this is the field. This is the function parameter. So
Okay.
before also we see some function, right? That function and all we need to pass some parameter. So this and all the parameter. So for more clarity, we can change this one. Now nothing is a problem here. So let's.
Okay. Okay.
So to understand more, we declaring the same thing. Otherwise, we can go for a different way. So for avoiding the confusion,
field and constructions are different.
yeah.
Right?
Both are. This is a field or variable. We can say variable. This is a parameter for function parameter. Okay.
Okay, I understand.
So both are different. So what we are passing though, we need to understand, right? That's why we have the same name. So this is a basic behavior of class. Okay, Titus. Next, go to inheritance. So this is also based on the class only. Here, see the explanation. Inheritance enable the new classes to receive the properties and the methods of the existing classes. So first we have one class. Already we have created one class, right? This is address. Here city and so city. This is the properties of the class. And we create another class. In that class, we are accessing this address. Actually, people explain like this. Actually, if our parents having one house and some lands means, automatically we inherit, we get after their lifetime, right? So like that, this is the parent, children or child class, we get the properties of the address. This is a special thing. Otherwise, what we need to do, so far, see here what happening in the child class. Here we have name and show person is one method. Here we are displaying I am what we are passing Ram from which city. They are passing that city, but you can see here in this class there is no city. We have only created the name. Then how we got the city? Since we have inherited the parent class here, the extent is a keyword in a TypeScript to inherit the parent class. Since we have inherited here, automatically whatever we are available public here, automatically we can consume that class in the child class. So this is a relationship between parent and child. Child can access the parent properties and functions. So this is a concept. This is called inheritance. We are going to see, we are going to discuss more in code. For object orienting, if you knew means definitely a little bit confusion, but object orienting is the very base for writing the program. So so if you want, we can have different separate object oriented class too. But even for base knowledge is enough to understand more. Even any other tutorial you can go on to learn, or personally you can approach me. Definitely I will explain. Same thing. Already we have discussed in a previous slide. The address class here, we are extends the address. Then we are consuming that city here from the parent here. So when we create an instance of a person, we need to pass the parent constructor value here. Then name we are passing here. Since we passed here, this will be assigned to city. So let's execute this one. See, only we pass Ram, but Chennai, it comes from the parent. Since we have a relationship, if you remove this one, that means now we have independent class. Now it shows error. City shows error, does not exist in the type. Unless until you declare here, nothing, it is still it will show the error. Okay. So this is a relation between parent and child. Child can access the parent properties. This is the concept of inheritance. Next, method overloading. This is also a relationship between the parent and child. Here, thing is that if parent and child having the same method, that time we give importance to child and we extend that method. So that is we are going to display. So in parent class, we have show. One method is here, and in child class, we are extend the parent class. That's why automatically we get this show. But if you write show method again here, so instead of displaying the parent show, we can do the child show method here. If we want to display the parent show to, we can call from here by using the super show. Otherwise, we will have clashing. Which method belongs to which class? Right? Like that, we will explore more in coding. Then we will understand more. So concept is two classes, parent and child, can have same name of the class. So child have privilege to override that parent class. Otherwise, parent still will be there. So let's see here. So parent having show and the child also having show. First, we will comment out this one. Child having two methods here. Show is a one method. Already the same show available here. And another method we are having this one. This is independent. We don't have any class with parent. Clash with parent. Now, when we execute this, so let's see what is the different here. So message now, two messages, message from child and message from method 2. Since even though we inherited the parent show now silently sleeping here. So if you want to show parent also, now we can call with super dot show. Whatever we have here for method, another method we have means we can call it directly. If show one means we can call it directly because there is no class here. But when we have the same name, that time we have to use the super keyword. Let's execute this. See, now three messages. First from the super. Okay, even we call this one from another method. Even though we are not calling here, we can call from anywhere. So this is a concept of overriding. Overriding means the same class name can have, the same method name can have in two different classes, parent and child, but the child have privilege to override the parent. So this is about overriding. And static. This is very, very simplest thing, but not
James,
that much secure. Yes.
Go back to backs. The samples போங்களா ஒரு நிமிஷம்.
Okay.
ஓகேவா, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து நம்ம வந்து கிளாஸ் பேரண்ட் வந்து கால் பண்றோம். ஓகேவா, சோ அது வந்து எக்ஸிக்யூட் ஆகும்போது ஷோ இருக்கு. ஓகேவா, செகண்ட் வந்து சைல்ட்ல இருந்து பேரண்ட கால் பண்றோம். சோ அதனால ஷோ இந்த லைன் நம்பர் 11 வந்து எக்ஸிக்யூட் ஆகும். ஓகேவா, எனக்கு வந்து என்ன சொல்றேன்னா, இந்த சூப்பர் ஷோ தூக்கி லைன் நம்பர் 15ல போட்டா என்ன ஆகும்?
15 போட்டா it won't work because என்னன்னா within method only we can call. இப்போ பாத்தீங்கன்னா அது சூப்பர் நம்மதே அவனால வந்து அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட், it won't understand. So method தான், even we can call this in another method. அதுவும் நாம பண்ணிக்கலாம். இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா first
Okay.
child will be print, then parent message, then method 2. So this is a limitation. So oops, if you go for oops, definitely it's a very deep subject. Ana, at least in basic level we should know about that. So child printed first, then
Okay.
parent and method 2. So this is a behavior only we can
Okay,
call
okay,
within
okay.
another method. This is a concept.
Okay. Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, Jayan, let's move to
Yeah.
next. Okay, this is a static class people will call. So there is no much different from there, but unless until we can see that the access method here static, then only we declare the name. But here directly declare some name. Even in previous city string we declare, right? But here we need to declare static, the keyword. What is the purpose of static means? Without create instance of the class, we can use those method and properties here. Here and all, if you want to create, if you want to use or show this method, one class method means we need to create the instance the new class, the new keyword you need to use. Then only we can access instead of the particular class. But static, we don't create a new object. Now the object until not needed for this class object is needed, right? And through object only we are showing inside of the class. But here in static, I have created one class person, and directly person dot name I can assign, then person dot show. This will be printed. So I show in detail in code.
இன்ஸ்டன்ஸ் சொல்றாங்கல்ல, சோ அந்த இன்ஸ்டன்ஸ்ங்கிறது வேரியபிள் ஆப்ஜெக்ட் ஈக்குவல் டு நியூன்னு கொடுக்குறீங்களா? அதுதான் இன்ஸ்டன்ஸ்.
அதுதான் இன்ஸ்டன்சியேட் சொல்லுவாங்க. அதான் ஸ்டார்ட் இன்ஸ்டன்ஸ் சொல்லுவாங்க. அதுதான் நியூ பண்ணும்போது என்ன ஆகுனா ஒன் காப்பி ஆஃப் த கிளாஸ் வில் பி கிரியேட்டட், ஆப்ஜெக்ட் இருக்கும். அதுதான் இன்ஸ்டன்ஸ் சொல்லுவாங்க.
ஓகே ஓகே.
அந்த வேல்யூ டைப் ரெஃபரன்ஸ் டைப்லாம் வரும் பாத்தீங்களா, அதுதான் அது இட் வில் டேக் இன் ரெஃபரன்ஸ் டைப்.
ஓகேண்ணா.
So one class we have created, but with static keyword. So whenever we create the static keyword, so that will be available here. We don't have any instance here, any no more object. Directly we are going to access. See, directly we are assigning here, then we are printing. So this is about the static. But here we have one problem when we go for the static in recommendation that till unless until the real usage don't go for the static. Static means if you assign name in one person, one instance we are assigning here, in other page you are assigning other value, means the latest value only will be in person dot name. Okay, but in classes what is happening, since we are creating instance, if you assign that person dot name Raj in another place Kumar, we have two instance. Okay, so it won't affect one page usage, won't affect other usage. But here if you use the static in one page, in another page if you are assigning, means definitely it will overwrite. So that's why if you are very clear, so that's the read only purpose only we are going to use, means definitely we can go for the static. Some what is that, some country code or kind of things we can go for static. It won't change often. So that time we can go for static. Otherwise we need to go for class. Class is always safer. So that's the definition. Static share the information among all the instances of the class. It used to create data and method that can be accessed without creating an instance of the class. So this is the main difference. Then instance of. So here, so you created 3 more class and create the instance. So new person means one instance of the person will be created and assigned to object here, and address for address class we create the instance here and assign to object to. So when we write the code, if you have confusion, object on insert of which class, person or address. So when we have the confusion, that time the instance of keyword will return true or false. So now he says object instance of address, we are asking this. So it will, the result will be assigned to here. It show false because object instance of person, but here we are telling object instance of address. Okay, so let's execute this code. Also, I show the usage of this functionality in my code. So it return false. So if you change this person, then it return true. Now it return true. But here when we have the small coder, we know easily we can understand without checking this. Object is instance of person and object to instance of address. But when we go for the bunch of code, then it's a confusion. As I show here, for union type, we are assigning these many classes to one variable, right? When you go for the code, we need to check here. So what we are doing, the instance. I don't know here. Here is a session participant is related to which class. So I am checking the experience type is this class means I call one function. Otherwise, I go for here because the real code, real assignment is here. But in another function only, here only we need to check. And dynamic only, as I show in our code. So unless until user doesn't know for which type will be, whenever we see the name, we don't know the which property we need to load and to show the data, that and all we don't know. So when we go for this kind of situation, we need to use instance keyword. This will return true or false if that particular object is created instance of that particular class, means it will return true, otherwise false. Based on that, we can extend our program. So this is about instance of. Then encapsulation. This is another very basic and interesting thing in the class. Actually, here again this is a class, but here we have access modifier. Actually, public, private, protected. This and all called the access modifier. Why we have this access modifier means we discuss when we extend this class. Actually, when we inherit this class, all the things will be available in the class that will be available in child too, right? But sometimes, in class, some properties should not be exposed to children, means we can lock that one for salary or some important information. Even child cannot access. If you want to do, if we want to make it read only, means the hide means we can go for private and protect. Okay, we have three basic thing here. Public means always available. So here three variables: first name, last name, age. The public only the name, first name only public, so that only we can show here. But if when you try to print this one, it shows unknown. The last name and age is unknown, because after creating instance of encapsulation to object, since this is a public, that only available, other things won't be available. Let's discuss more while writing code. Same code available here. So it prints RAM. Just you uncomment this thing. So you show the error. See, this is the first name. So last name is a private, accessible within the class, and the other thing is the age is a protected, so accessible within the class and subclasses. So that is the thing. But here, yeah, this is the thing. Protected means actually you can ask the difference between private and protected. The private means that here itself it says only available within the class. Here, if we create any more method, that method also is private available. But if you go outside of the world, outside of this class, private is not available. But as per the protected, it will be, it can be accessible within the class, also the subclass. If you create subclass means you create another class and extend this encaps there, then the protected available. But apart from the outside of object and all is not available. So this is the difference between these three. But so if you want the outside of the class should be available means you create public, otherwise you go for private. So this is a simple for encapsulation. Encapsulation used to hide and to show the property of the class to another classes. So this is the concept of encapsulation. Next, interface. Actually, this is a bit different from class, but this is the agreement between the class and interfaces. For some for employee information, we know the first name, last name, email, phone number, this and all the common field. But some developers then create a class with first name, last name. Some developers create full name. So to avoid this kind of confusion, we create one contract. That means the whatever you create the class, that class should be use this interface. So implement interface. If we implement the interface, the same structure what we have interface, that only we need to follow. So here first name, last name, full name means we cannot create name here, simply name. So what we have there, that only we can implement here. Additionally, we can create some properties. Okay, so this is about interface. Let's look more on the real-time scenario. So it prints Ram Kumar. Actually, let's see the interface. You forgot about this thing. And we have implemented the full name. So this is a class. This is not class, only interface. So when we create a class, we implement the interface. So this is the some generic thing all the developers should follow. Means we will provide that interface to all the developers. So they need to implement. When they implement, instead of the first name, if they go for name one, means it will complain. See, class employee incorrectly implements interface. Property first name is missing from the employee, but you required I full name. So in here we should have this name. So we cannot change that one. So the following the standard. So all the developers should follow the same standard. Means we create the standard here. That standard should be implemented for all the classes. This is a simple explanation for interface here. The rule is that whatever we have here we have two variables and one method declaration. We cannot write one new method here. Class, we create one method right here, but interface and all only the declaration. Even we cannot assign any value here, only declaration. So the full name, so one function should be written. So if you avoid this one, if you comment out or rename this one, definitely it will complain you haven't implemented this one. Okay, so apart from that, you can write some other method too. That's our wish. Even you can write function too, that and all, it won't complain. But whatever we have, that should be implemented. So this is a case about the interface. And another thing is there, multiple interface also we can implement. So now we have iTitle. This is another implementation, another interface that also we can. So class can have I full name and title. So that means in comma separator, we can give this interface name I title. So when we add here, it will complains about that. What complaints means, this interface property we haven't created here yet. So that is the thing. So if you create title or just a copy and paste here, so it will even though you are not you are using or not, that is not an issue. But if you implement interface, whatever we have in interface, we need to implement here. So this is to maintain the standard. So all the developers should follow the same naming convention and the method means we will go for that. So this is about the usage of interface. And abstract, this is the same as interface, but abstract is a class. Now you can see here abstract we are adding here. So class here, the same kind of thing only here. Let's see more, but difference are there. Let's see.
Sir, do we have functional interface in TypeScript?
Functional interface means
As we use in Java to use the lambda expression from the functional interface, we can have concrete method also in interface, functional interface.
Full implement we cannot do in TypeScript, but in lambda, instead of doing this, we can lambda syntax we can use. Whatever we use, we can go for that. But full implementation we cannot do in here. So just we call this one here. Let's see, it will complain about the thing, because even we can give here. So a normal definition of interface means we can have the properties and the function declaration, not implementation. So implementation should be made in classes only. So this is in TypeScript, but I am not familiar with Java. Anyhow, you compare how it is possible. But as per here, we cannot implement here.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay, let's go to abstract here. See, 16 is a result. What we have done here, we create abstract class, but this is one kind of class here. Then we extend with this class to here, and whatever we have mentioned here, that should be used here. So if I rename this, it will complain. Does not implement. So interface and abstract almost same, but that is interface, but this is a class. And class means you can ask, we can create instance. For normal class, we can create instance, right? For here, square is a class, we have created instance, right? For interface, for abstract, we cannot create the class. So that is the only difference for normal class and abstract class. So it will say cannot create an instance of an abstract class. Okay, so we need to decide whether we are going to go for interface or abstract to create the contract. That contract should be followed by all the developers. So we need to decide whether abstract or interface. Mostly people will go interface. This is one of the way, but nowadays 90% of projects, companies, they are following interface only, because that is very simple implementation. So this is about abstract. So another type of class. Then generic. This is a bit the same as unique, the any type. But any type is always confusion for TypeScript compiler. And whenever we just where result means that this is any type. So whenever it sees the declaration, TypeScript cannot understand. Whenever we assign the value, that time only it will see which type and what kind of operator we need to put, what kind of syntax we need to follow. That and all TypeScript will do for any type. But here generic type, this in even Java and C# everywhere, this genetic this type available, generic type. Actually these types copied from there, actually based on that usage they wanted to implement in JavaScript. That's why now they are implementing this type through TypeScript. Okay, so here generic type safely enforce type safety without compromising performance productivity. So here we don't have any confusion for any type, but it works well compared to any. Here with this the open and close bracket, we go for this is syntax for generic, and we are passing this set of array value and returning the array value. So after this colon, if you mention any data type, means that is a return type. But here generic type, we are getting value through parameter as generic and also returning through generic. So we receive this value to here one array value, then we are pushing to another this array value here. So this we are iterating here. This dot length dot -1 means the parameter value. Just this is only declaration empty array. We are collecting this array value from that parameter array one by one, and finally it throw the results. So this is the declaration. In outside of the function, we are declare and call this do reverse function here and passing this array and returning. So when we declare, when you pass the in alphabetic order, is in descending order it returns. Even in number also it does the same. So let's execute more in code. Don't bother about the syntax. Actually, this OD tells like this, but in our actually we are using WebStorm that doesn't show any error. But when we execute this, it works fine. So we are passing actually we are passing value in alphabet order, and it should return this one. For number also, what we are passing, just it capture and does the loop reversely and give the result. That's it. This is just the example for the generic type. So mainly you are look this one. So we are declaring one generic. So generic means any type of array it accepts. This is a concept of generic way. So this is
why it's displaying a compile time error, but we are declaring the T as a array type, right? So
yeah, actually here only
generic only we are using there.
Yeah, actually this this Visual Studio Code actually and I think this compiler not understand about this thing, this generic the thing. I don't know what is missing, but anyhow
can you mouse over on the T red color underline? It says any.
Yeah, is generic type you could not understand. If you go for any type, no, see, even though it won't run, but if you know, it won't tell anything. But if you go for this type, the generic,
Explicitly, we are saying that it is a array type.
yeah. So as per the TypeScript concept, if you go with T and this symbol means it should handle the generic. This is a way, but this IDE or this particular version throws error, but it should be warning. But it show the correct result only. So definitely it won't be a problem even though we go for real implementation, because after compile even after compilation we can see that JavaScript file. This JavaScript file only will be used in browser. So don't bother about this compiler time problem and all, because this code only will be shipped with our build. So we have code here, so nothing problem here. But anyhow, I don't know. See, in initial time, I tried to solve this one because after compile only we can execute this code. I thought that it doesn't compile, but after that only some sites says your IDE or particular version, instead of throwing warning message, it show error, that and all. So after that, when you go for execution, it works fine. So this is about only related to this only. So finally we got that JS file. So getting JS file is important for this TypeScript, but we got it successfully. So no issues up to that. We could not execute this program, means that is different, but now we got the result. So it's a nullable. This is very simple actually. In normal case, if we go for declaring string, then we are assigning string, it's okay, and null undefined also it accepts. This is the same for all the data types, but in some most of the project don't want to assign accept null value, because if it accept null value means later on when we check, definitely when it assigned to some other functionality, it will throw error. So when we writing the in development time itself, it will be caught. So in TypeScript configuration file, we need to say strict null check is true. If you set this variable here, when we write the code itself, it will throw error. So developer aware of that one. So they won't assign any null. Before assign, they will check whether incoming value is null or not. Not null means they will assign, otherwise they will omit. So this is the option. So let's try to create one file here. So first we create this one. So now it doesn't show anything. Now let's create here we make it to true. So let's navigate to here. So is throw error now. So while writing code itself, we can understand. So this is error. So then we go for false or remove from there. It accept that one. So now it's accept. So this is the configuration level. So based on your need, we go for that. But always this is the recommended way to write the program. So this is not nullable handling. And destructuring. This is about destructure